But for me, Christmas will be spent in a cage and there won't be any warm hearth, or gifts beneath a tree. I will spend my holiday alone just as I have done for too many Christmases past. And although it may be difficult for others to understand, I still feel blessed to celebrate Christmas in my own way. I came to Florida's death row in March of 1984, and it's that first Christmas on the row that I look back upon and remember. That was a very hard year. In that first year, there were 8 men here on the row put to death, one almost every month, and at a time when there was barely 100 of us here. That number now has increased to almost 400, with executions averaging 2 yearly. With so many facing imminent executions, the stench of death practically hung over all of us like a toxic cloud, threatening to suffocate us. My cell neighbor had been on the row for about 8 years at the time, and throughout that first year James, J.D. Rollerson looked out for me, and, as only condemned men living in close proximity can, we became as close as family. He took me under his wing and generously and kindly showed me the ropes. But just before the holidays, the Florida governor signed a death warrant on J.D., and he was taken away to the death watch area to await execution. His Christmas would be spent alone on the bottom floor of Florida State Prison's infamous Q Wing, a few feet away from the door that leads into the execution chamber, and the following month, J.D. was executed. Although I had sat in my death row cell as 8 others were each put to death, and executions were not unfamiliar to me, by the time that first Christmas on the row rolled around and J.D. was moved to death watch, it hit especially close to home. He was the first one that I was actually close to, though far too many others I came to later know as both friends and brothers would follow through the years. That first Christmas on the row was especially hard in part because I still held on to the more traditional way in which most celebrate this holiday. I missed being able to be with my loved ones, and I could only wonder how my children might be spending their Christmas that year, as I had no way to communicate with them, and hadn't heard from them since my arrest in early 1983. But that doesn't mean that my family and friends were not in thought, and each night I anxiously waited for the mail to come in, hoping upon hope that maybe, just maybe, I might get a card or letter, but those cards and letters didn't come.